Hey guys, JRCOOK here, and today I'm doing something a little bit different. I feel like I say that all the time, and I guess it's because I'm always doing things a little bit differently. But so I have a new website, JRCOOK.LIFE, and this is going to be the first video that goes on my video log on that website. I'll probably end up adding some of my old videos just to get them on there so that people can find them easier. But anyway, so what I'm going to be talking about today is I'm going to talk about turning a dream into reality. How I come up with a new dream, or, I just come to a point in my life where, I know that it's time to turn the page into a new direction. And I just ask myself, what's really important to me? Who am I really? What do I want to see my life like in 5 years? Um, what part of my life is lacking right now? What am I hungry for? What is it that I want more of? And so I ask myself these questions, and when I come up with the answer, um, and sometimes it's a little difficult to come up with an answer. It's like we get into like a state of depression or something like that, and it's a challenge to, to even think, well, I don't even know what I want. Well, in a situation like that, I go for usually a very big and dramatic shift. Um, the last time that happened was about a year ago, and I was life was pretty good. I mean, I was living on the beach in San Diego, but so many things weren't going. I just psychologically, I just wasn't happy. Is what it was. I was not happy. And so I said, I need to do something big. I need to do something that shows myself how much I really have as a capacity as a human being. I was like, what is something big that I could do? And then I just thought, I'm like, man, I could just leave the country, and I was like, whoa. Like, and when I just had that idea, like, my heart just kind of jumped up a little bit. It's just like, whoa. It's like, that sounds awesome. And I was like, oh, wow, that sounds awesome. That's something that I can get excited about. That's something that I'll really enjoy doing. And as I make this video right now from Chiang Mai, Thailand, it's really amazing what has happened in 1 year. Because I remember coming up with the idea for Thailand. I was running on the beach in Oceanside, California, and it was early in the morning. It was probably 4:30 in the morning, and I came up with the idea before I went to work, and I said, I don't have any idea how I can do this, but I know that anything is possible as long as I'm committed. And I committed to it, and then here I am. So that's usually what happens to me is I get to a point where it's just like anything is better than this. Sometimes we need to get to a point where we just have to shake things up a little bit. And, I don't know if you're at this point, watching this in your life or not, or maybe you already have, your dream, you already know what you want. But that's the first step is coming up with something that's compelling, something that we're like, yes, that's what I want, yes, something we can get excited about, a future that is compelling. And if what it is that we're after is not compelling, it might be time to take a new look at the direction that we're trying to take our lives. Because I think that it's important for the motivation factor, for the drive that's required to really achieve these dreams and goals, to have something that pulls us towards it, something that we're excited about doing, something that we're excited to wake up in the morning instead of wanting to sleep in. And so that's the first step. And the second step is looking and really visualizing. Okay, so I visualize what is going to happen if I do not do this, if I do not follow through, if I continue like last November. I wasn't happy. I wasn't pleased with my life. I had a lot of good things going for me. I was grateful every day and all of that, but there were a lot of areas that I wasn't pleased with, and I knew that something big had to happen. That's why I knew something big had to happen, and um, I just visualized what's gonna happen if I have to go on with this feeling for another year. What's it gonna cost me? You know, what's it gonna cost all of these areas of my life if I fail to improve them? And and sometimes, like, I've asked myself this in the past, and to be with like a relationship with one of my family members or something, and I like to think that my relationship with my family is a lot stronger now than it has been in a long time since I was a kid. And so it's one thing, but and then after we look at this, maybe it is a relationship. Maybe, something has to change in your relationship with your spouse or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or something like that. And or maybe it's something that needs to change with your body. Maybe you need to, lose a few pounds. Maybe you need to do something like that. And if that's the case, look at what it's going to cost in the next 5 or 10 years. What's the worst thing that could possibly happen um, if you fail to change? I mean, if it's dieting, maybe it's a heart attack, maybe it's death. Maybe it's diabetes, or if you're diabetic already, maybe it's amputation. And I'm not trying to depress you right now, or if you're in a relationship, maybe it's divorce, maybe it's breakup, maybe it's a big custody battle for the kids. Um, there's a lot of negative things that can happen if we fail to make these changes in our life. And the reason why I want you to look at that is because it creates motivation. It creates drive. It's like if there's a hot fireplace poker, and like I'm poking it at you, right? You can jump back, right? And that's psychologically what I'm trying to build right now. And that's the second step, And then the third step is asking ourselves the question, okay, well, what good things will happen if I do make the change? you know, if I do start dieting and exercising. And if weight's a problem for you, I have to tell you, dieting is never going to be enough. And I don't want to say that because, like, kill all your dreams and stuff, but exercise is essential. And a lot of people don't realize, like, I mean, I've had a couple times in my life where I looked in the mirror, I'm like, whoa, I packed on a few pounds. I wasn't paying attention, you know? But the one thing that changes it, and the easy formula really that works for weight loss, is not going on a crazy diet. It's not going on all the fasting stuff, intermittent fasting and all of that. The main thing that works is really, um, you do need to eat healthy, as healthy as possible. But the most powerful thing is wake up first thing in the morning and exercise for at least 45 minutes. And when you wake up in the morning and you exercise for 45 minutes, what it does is it stimulates your metabolism for the rest of the day. And you're going to burn way more calories in the day. You're going to have a lot more energy during the day. And you're going to get addicted to it. You're going to get addicted to that feeling. And when you do that every single day, that builds up so strongly over time. And so I didn't want to get into the whole dieting thing, but I just felt like I had to mention it right here because I think like a lot of people that I noticed and talked to, I think that they kind of get weight loss all wrong. It's not in the diet that you take, it's because a lot of times diets will work, but they'll work temporarily. Um, like you'll lose the weight and then you'll gain it back. You'll lose the weight and then you'll gain it back. And it's honestly, it's easier to gain the weight back. Um, the second time because your body gets used to holding on to its calories. It shifts into a different state where it knows that it needs to hold on to these calories because you're not eating as much. And it's a natural thing that happens. And so when you eat, then, like when you binge or whatever, it's going to cause you to, your body's going to want to store all of that as fat, instead of burning it off with a heightened metabolism, and it slows you down. Anyway, I am a fan of dieting, but not how people do it. Like the whole calorie restriction diet. I don't think that that's the way to go. I think that if anything, keep the same amount of calories but burn more. You know, you can reduce some calories, but do not deprive yourself. You know, do not make yourself hate your life because you're not going to stick with the diet. Um, but anyway, back to so now we look. Okay, what happens if I do follow through with the diet? And visualize yourself wearing the jeans that you want to wear. You know, if you want to fix your relationship, view yourself laughing and smiling with this person. You know, look at how good life can really be. You know, if it's a relationship with your child, you know, imagine yourself, you guys are like, I don't know, hang gliding over the Grand Canyon. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit more crazy than most people. Most people don't want to go hang gliding over the Grand Canyon with their kids, but showing off my craziness a little bit here. But um, whatever it is for you. Maybe it's just you guys are eating ice cream. You know, you and your kid are eating ice cream and just laughing and smiling. You know, or maybe you're walking through the woods on a trail somewhere. You know, whatever it is for you in your relationships. If it's money, you know, you just imagine yourself driving your car that you want. You know, maybe it's a white Mercedes, and you feel the leather, you feel the leather grip, you know, and you're just sitting in there and you're just able to visualize something that just makes you feel great. Maybe it's a dream home, you know, and you just see yourself walking through that entryway. You can feel the tiles underneath your feet. You know, maybe they're coral tiles. You know, whatever it is for you, whatever it is for you. And um, and then once you do that, then it's time to come up with a plan. And it's really a brainstorming session. There are a couple components to coming up with a plan. And the first one is what I do is I brainstorm. I just think, okay, what are some ideas that I can have right now? Just write them out, write them out, write them out, write them out. And then I create what I call a roadmap. And I say, okay, what is going to have to happen between where I am today and where I want to be? And there are different stepping stones along the way. And I call them control points because there are certain things in life that we can control, and then there are certain things that we cannot control. And I always recommend focusing on the things that we can control. I say, you know, it's like part of it is what I can do, and part of it is what God can do. It's like planting a seed in the ground. I can control the water that I put on it. I can control the fertilizer. I can control, you know, if I bring it inside, I can control the temperature. There are things that I can control, but can I control that seed actually sprouting? Can I actually control that plant growing? You know, where it's going to grow a leaf and all of that? No, I can't. You know, so I don't need to focus on that so much. What I need to focus on are the points of control that I have, and then doing my part to the absolute best of my ability, and then having the faith that the rest of it's going to work out. And faith works in that degree. Now, I think what a lot of people get kind of mixed up with faith is they don't even focus on the levers of control that they have. They would just want to believe that it's all going to work out without doing their part. But our parts are what we have control over, and that's essential. So in the relationship, you know, if everything's going bad right now, well, one thing that we might be able to do to help out the relationship, a lot of times relationships, they just get boring. People get too used to each other, and boredom happens. And you know, if that hurts your feelings, I'm sorry, but it's the truth. And so a good thing to toss up a relationship, honestly, is just start surprising your spouse or your partner. Start surprising them every single day. You know, maybe it's come up with a surprise. Maybe he's come up with, okay, what is something kind and nice that I can do today? And maybe they might be a little suspicious at first, like, whoa, what is this person's angle right now? You know, maybe the relationships become toxic, you know, and so it's going to take a few days before they're like, you know, but the more shocking the better, honestly. If you can do something that is just so you know, it would seemingly be out of character for you in a positive way, that's going to be a transformational moment in your relationship. And if they can't appreciate that, well, changing into this new person is actually going to make you a better person, and you're going to get someone that actually deserves that. And sometimes you got to wash away the old and in order to make room for the better new. And so that would be one thing. Surprise the person. Get them not just flowers, not just something like that, but maybe it's, you know, maybe it's something that they really care about. Maybe they really like a certain sports team and you buy them some tickets. Or maybe it's a certain kind of movie. Maybe it's something that you've actually um, maybe disparaged them about in the past. Maybe if it's a girl and she likes to go to, the salon or something, you're like, oh, you always go to the salon, you've always mocked them, whatever. Maybe it's buy them a really nice package at the salon, and be like, you know what? The days of me mocking you for this are over. I really thought about it, and I realized that I wasn't being a blessing in your life by acting that way, by speaking that way. And I want to be a light in your world. I want your life to be better because I'm here. And so this is a gift for you. I love you. I care about you, and and just enjoy yourself. I'm not trying to angle here. I'm not trying to win an argument. I didn't do. She's probably like, what did he do? You know, but um, but it's not that. And after you do that a few different times, a few different days, hey, maybe it's like, she comes home from work one day and you're just like, you know what? I'm gonna give her this awesome massage right now. I'm gonna give her a foot rub, you know. And if it's a girl, the same thing. Um, Anything in a relationship, it doesn't matter male or female, whatever. Um, we all like to be surprised, and we all like to be gifted things. And if you really want to turn around a relationship, that's the adding some excitement. And a lot of times people think like excitement in a relationship is like you think that it has to be in the bedroom, but I think that it's honestly, I mean, that's also important. It is important to add variety there too, but I think that it's as important or more important to do it in other ways. Maybe it's a picnic. Maybe it's you travel somewhere, go somewhere new, see something new, do something. And if it's always watching a movie or watching Netflix for you guys, do something new. I mean, it could be something even crazy, like something small. Maybe it's playing Jenga. Maybe it is going rock climbing. There are always new things that can be done. And but basically, I just wanted to throw some things out there in case there were people looking for ideas. But there's the brainstorming area, and focus on what you can control. Everything that I just mentioned are control points. And so beyond control points and beyond brainstorming them, I look up what are the best in the world doing for each of these control points. So me making a video like this, what are my control points? Well, my control points are my delivery. My control points are the topic that I choose. Control points are, what kind of camera I'm using, what kind of keywords I'm putting as my title, where I'm posting it, to get in front of as many eyeballs as possible. Um, I have all these different control points, and so what I do is I look up, okay, what are the best ways of creating titles? What are the best ways of delivering my message? What are the best ways of, and I just look at like, what are the best ways? I mean, maybe I'm not going to buy a $30,000 camera right now, but which might technically be the best. But what are the best things that will deliver the most value per the amount of effort that I put out there? And so I look at each one of these things and I write them out. So I get like to my whiteboard or something, and I'll just you know, write out like I'll draw a map. So I'm like where I am. I'm here right now. Can you see this? Yeah. And then I draw an arrow, and then I'm like, okay. Then step A, and then I'll go up here. step B, step C. And if shooting a video is okay, well, here I am now, and oops, and step A would be, okay, choosing a topic. And step B is like, you know, uh, creating an outline. And my standard is always to perform at a world-class level. So how do I choose a world-class topic? How do I create a world-class outline? How do I deliver a world-class talk? And so on and so forth. I go to step D, step E, and beyond. And what that does is these are my control points. Can I control how receptive the audience is? No. Can I control you clicking on the video and watching it? No, I can't. But I can control what I can control. And then I have to utilize faith, honestly, to just believe that there's going to be an audience out there for me. And that's what I really think it's all about. And so that's the second thing. And so once we do that, that's how we create our plan. Is we look at the control points and we find out what it is. And each one of those things, I mean, the first step might be to do some research. You know, how do I choose the best topic to talk about? Well, honestly, start with Google. How do I choose the best topic to watch? Watch a few YouTube videos, and get a sense, get an idea. You don't have to clone somebody else's idea, but watching what other people do is, I think you'll find that will inspire you. It'll inspire you to have your own new ideas, and maybe you'll see where you can actually do it better than other people have done it. And so that's the next step. And then after that, you have these different control points. You choose exactly how you're going to achieve each one of these at the standard that you want. It might not be, at a world-class level, for you. Um, it is for me, because if I'm going to do something, I want to do it to the absolute best of my ability. But maybe you just want to get through a process. Okay, what is something that is going to that I have the time for, that I have the energy for on each one of these steps. And then once you do that and you draw it all out, like with your arrows and all that stuff, I mean, you can draw it 1, 2, 3, 4 if you want. This is what works for me. It's visual. It works. And once you do that, then you have a plan. And then it's simply following through with your plan. And when you run along, and you will run along obstacles, distractions, and challenges along the way. And when that happens, that's where a positive mental attitude comes in. And certain questions, and certain beliefs, a question is, why is this happening for me? And the belief behind that question is, things happen for me. They don't happen to me. And everything happens for a reason. And all challenges are there to provide the resistance that makes me stronger, so that I can become the person that deserves the results that I'm after. And that's my personal belief, and that's why every single time I'm hit with a challenge, I never even get angry anymore. Like, even I'm driving in traffic, right? I'm driving in traffic, they slam on the brakes in front of me, no longer angry. Now, that hasn't always been the case with me, but at this point, I really believe that it's all happening for a reason. And if is that true or not, I don't know. I don't know if that's true. But what I do know is that it's beneficial to believe that. It's like mental software that gets this body of mine and brain of mine to think the kind of thoughts that I need it to think, to make the kind of actions that I need it to make on a consistent basis, to deliver the kind of results that I need in my life. And and so I suggest coming up with some beneficial beliefs. Find some beneficial questions. If you need more questions, you need more beliefs. I mean, I have plenty of videos out there, but a couple of beliefs that I've adopted in my life, like the one I just mentioned, um, I have some thought patterns that I've kind of programmed inside myself, and just one of them I was chanting to myself this morning was challenges merely sharpen my axe and make me a better person. Challenges merely sharpen my axe and make me a better person. And sometimes I say it, so I chop through challenges. Yes, when I'm wanting to amp myself up, and that's one of the things I do every morning is, like challenges merely sharpen my axe, so I chop through challenges. Yes, challenges merely sharpen my axe, so I chop through challenges. Yes, and you'll find when you make up these incantations or chants or whatever you want to call them, affirmations. Um, I do it with emotion behind it. I do it with as much power and impact possible that I can possibly do because it amps me. It amps me, and I do it first thing in the morning. That way, that momentum just takes me throughout my entire day. And that way, when I know that when I run into a person, that I'm delivering the best version of myself possible to that person. And I know that that's always the case when I run into people because it's the first thing I do every single morning before I talk to anyone. I make sure to take some time out for myself, and I need to take time out for myself so that there's more of me to share when when other people are experiencing me. And so that's the next thing is having these beliefs, having the questions that we ask ourselves. Another question that's always very positive when we run into a challenge is, how can I use this? How can I use this and come out even better than before? Why is this happening for me? And they sound like some crazy questions, but our minds are powerful things, and they will produce an answer if we ask a question. And we can ask ourselves the question, why would God do this to me? And it's going to provide an answer. But it's not a beneficial answer, because whatever answer it is, it's like, because you're an idiot. Okay, well, what are you going to do with that other than feel bad? But why is this happening for me? It's going to cause the mind to be inspired to deliver an empowering thought versus a disempowering thought. And so questions are very important. The way that we speak to ourselves and our mind are very important. And and so that's how you get over the challenges. And really, all life is, I believe, is having dreams, something that we want, a decision that we've made, and then overcoming the challenges along the way. A lot of people get mixed up with the challenges, and they give up on their dreams. And I think that that's because they get too caught up focusing on the problem instead of focusing on the solution. That's why it's so important to have your goal, have your dream, and focus on that dream. Even when the challenges come, stay focused on the dream. No matter how challenging the challenge seems, like, oh, this is going to kill me. Stay focused on what you want. And it's amazing how well things can really work out, how much is going on around us right now that we're not even aware of. I found that my challenges just seem to go away in ways that seem almost magic because there was someone that was just watching, or there's someone that just comes into my life that changes everything. An opportunity shows up out of the nowhere. And a lot of people call this the law of attraction. I don't know. But all I know is it always happens. And so, but I'm stayed focused on my dream. And so that I stay, even when the challenge comes, I stay focused on the dream. I'm only making slight baby steps, in this point, at this point, at this point. But each time I make a little bit of progress every single day. And then I get over the challenge and boom, I'm still going towards my dream. And that's the difference between, I think, about 95% of people and then the 5% that actually get the kind of life that they want. Um, that's really what I think it is. And that's really the formula. That's the formula of going from where you are to where you want to be. When you get to where you want to be, that's another challenge. I'll save that for another video because this one's almost a half an hour long already. But that's really it. And then when you get there, I recommend come up with a new dream as soon as possible. Otherwise, you're going to get bored and um, you're going to sabotage. I don't want to tell you that that's what you're going to do, but and maybe not for everyone, but that was a big challenge for me. Is I get this big dream and say it's a certain amount of money or something, right? And then I get the money, and then I get there, and then it's like, oh man, I lose all drive, I lose all focus. I'm comfortable now, I've got the money, and then I spend it all or something, and and then sometimes it's like this in relationships too. People think that they want this great relationship, and so they get it, they get it, they get it, they get in the relationship. Woo! This is fun. This is great, right? And then next thing you know, it's like, this is going almost too good, and then they end up sabotaging the relationship. And it happens in all sorts of different ways. Same thing with dieting, and same thing with anything that we want. So the way to get over this, though, is to go over the same process that I just talked about as soon as you get to the finish line. You can celebrate for a day or two, but I really, really strongly recommend not staying there for too long, because you're going to get there, you're going to get bored, and then you're going to end up at square one again. And if you want an extraordinary life, you need to make sure that you're constantly improving in every single area. And if it's a relationship, maybe you get there and then you're like, you know what? Now I think I'm going to work on my body a little bit, because there are so many different areas of life, or maybe, you get there with your finances, and you're like, you know what? Now I need to really work on my relationships. Or maybe you have health and finances and relationships down, but you don't have any money. Maybe it's time to work on your money. So look at this. I really recommend, take a look at this. And if you have any more questions, drop me a message. I have an element on the front part of my website here where anybody can ask me any question that they want, and I will answer it on an upcoming episode. So, thanks for watching. It's been JR Cook. I pray that you've received some value here. Um, make sure you click subscribe down here in the little subscribe button below. If you're signed in with YouTube, you can subscribe. If not, just come back and check out the website. I have a mailing list that you can sign up for too on the main page here. And also, I provide coaching classes too. If you want me to go through each one of these steps with you and hold you accountable, go over making a plan with you over time, I have coaching services too. Again, that's on the front page of my website. You can go through. I provide a free 30-minute strategy call. And yeah, so I look forward to seeing you here, seeing you in coaching, seeing you somewhere sometime in the near future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.